All right, it's finally time. It's only been a week, but it feels like it's been so long. It's week
Years.
2 of Poker Time. We're excited. We got a lot of new blood here. We've got Batiste from last week. Let's see if he plays 904% of hands again.
I mean, he did win a World Series of Poker circuit bracelet, so maybe he knows something we don't know.
He
but
probably
boy,
knows something.
He's sure playing a lot of hands, and that's fun. We also got a lot of new blood, and there's a rumor at least that Action Aaron may be showing up later.
Yeah,
in
so
the
get excited for
evening.
that because that guy is good action. It's poker time. Get ready. We're going to shuffle up and deal.
Here we go. It's week 2, episode 2, and as you can see,
It's episode 1, buddy. But,
Well.
good try.
just it's an early, long day we're gonna have in front of us. Action Aaron did make it in time. You can see him there.
We made it 7-handed just to get Action Aaron in the game, and you guys are going to see why.
Yeah, he's already a YouTube favorite, a fan favorite, and he's gonna live up to that always because he's Action Aaron.
He's got a name now. It's Action Aaron.
It's a great name.
And look at this. He has a real hand to start. Wonka's open to 20. Action Aaron's going to 3-bet it because this is the nuts for him.
This is like so far ahead of his 3-betting range.
You guys probably remember Batiste from last week. His VPIP was quite high at that time.
Yeah, he was one of the
He
big
vowed
winners.
to change that, by the way. We'll see if he can. See
Yeah.
if he can live up to that.
He said in the second episode he played all but 2 hands and thought that was too much. Hard to argue.
All right, we got a 3-bet pot for the first pot of week 2. That sounds pretty good to me.
Wow,
That's an action flop.
huge flop for Aaron.
I imagine this is just going to go check call.
Yeah, it would seem really strange for Wonka to do anything but call here.
It's a big bet. He bets 100 into 120.
Wonka, already not loving the idea, I think, of having to call down, but you can't fold for 1 bet, even though it's a big one. You just can't.
You just don't want to lose a huge pot.
Oh,
on the,
no.
Maybe he doesn't know Action Aaron by reputation, you know?
He's
Although
gonna
Action
learn.
Aaron did have all of the equity in the hand, or more of the equity than Nick.
Yeah, he had more for sure.
Wonka,
but
excuse me.
Yeah, Wonka's first name is Nick.
Yes.
People. He had more, but come on. I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't have been check folding there. All right, let's see if Wonka is going to be tight all night. Looks like it.
yep.
That's a pretty tight fold. We are 7-handed instead of 6-handed.
So that's a recipe for tightness right there, 7-handed.
We got Aaron raising again, this time with King Deuce. It's a king and a deuce.
The graphics say Wonka raised to 20. That's not right. Just so you know. There we go. Nope, it's going to get fixed.
We'll
but
fix it.
Don't worry about it. Aaron opened with King Deuce and Digital Dan called.
And so did a couple other people here. Oh,
Yep.
Digital Dan's got a big hand here, 2 jacks. K6, who I'm going to refer to as Bryce, because that's his name. Decided to call as well.
You don't want to call him by his chosen nickname, huh?
He likes King 6.
So Wonka not in the hand, otherwise he would have flopped best.
Yeah, that's a lie. It says he's in the hand. Digital Dan deciding to bet this flop. That's
Surprising. Does have the Jack of Spades.
Maybe he thinks both jacks are spades. He has a flush draw.
Well, he's going to find out where he is. In this case, it's going to be way, way ahead of everybody.
Even Aaron can't continue here, right?
It would seem absurd. He does have 2 back doors.
They drop. Might be lucky here.
Look how hard it is for him to
Yeah,
fold.
he said I might be lucky here. I think maybe he means the 10 of hearts will roll off on the turn or something. I don't know.
4 of hearts pretty good,
I
too.
might not have needed runner around. I might have been ahead.
I think he's saying he might be ahead there. He thinks Dan might just have a flush draw.
Yeah, not impossible.
I mean, if Aaron had called there, Dan would not have been happy, and Aaron would get to win a lot.
You're gonna bet a black chip, is that what you're doing? Very good idea.
Thorpe with the old Queen 3 off.
Another new player here for us.
Yeah. Also likes to play a lot of hands.
Digital Dan, new to Poker Time, but he's been on a lot of the Poker Time testing, and now he's getting to do the real thing.
I don't think anyone would know what Poker Time testing is except for you and me.
Yeah, well now they do. It's
Even now, I don't think they
it's
do.
when we were testing this before we
Yeah,
launched.
we
it.
were running some practice shows, and Digital Dan was playing for real cash in those. He's going to call the 3-bet from Randy.
Another new guy, Randy.
I almost want to call this guy Action Randy.
I
But
know
we
we
already
got
have an Action.
Action Aaron and Action Randy. You will see Randy, action player.
Yeah, for sure. Randy always going to see bet a board like this, you would think, after 3-betting.
It's not going to work this time.
It'd be surprising if it did.
He chose a pretty small 3-bet size out of position there with the 7 high. I would have preferred to see it be a bit bigger.
I agree, but on this board, it probably should do the trick most of the time anyway.
Well, not when Dan has king jack.
Of course, but if Dan had most
Yeah.
other hands, he's either going to fold or call.
Right. I just mean pre-flop. The size.
Oh, pre-flop. I thought you meant post.
He didn't 3-bet post-flop. Not yet.
Had the nuts the whole way.
Yes, he did. He 3-bet to 45. Oh, you're talking pre-flop. Whatever. I don't care. Oh,
That's
this is
a bad card for Dan.
great opportunity for Randy, and
He knows it. Ooh, and he's going to bet small.
it's 40% of the pot.
I like that, actually. It looks like he has something like ace-queen, and he's trying to get value from a weaker hand.
I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to call if you're digital Dan here. You have to know a lot about Randy to decide to call here.
Can't get him back.
Contemplating.
He's thinking, if these were virtual cards, what would I do?
Because I'm digital Dan?
Yeah. He's the guy who thinks we're in a simulation. He's convinced of it. That's why we
Oh,
call
yeah.
him Digital Dan.
Is that why?
Maybe not. That's a good reason to give.
So far, we've had 3 hands and 2 3-bets.
This is going to be a crazy table. I
Yeah.
can tell you with this lineup, this is a dream lineup right here, and we're going to see why. I predict. I mean, Thorpe thought about playing that.
Yeah,
hand.
he wanted to play that under the gun.
That's what I'm talking
He's
about.
like, it's been 3 hands. I haven't played a hand.
I think he actually did play. Oh no, he didn't. He folded that queen 3, didn't he?
Batiste with a way above expectation hand for those who watched last week's show.
And this is what we're talking about, though. K6 calls with king 7 off in the cutoff. Randy calls with ace deuce suited on the button, and we got 6 deuce in there as well. I mean,
You
this
almost
is-
said ace deuce there. He has 8 deuce.
Yes.
Well, this is why you don't call with king 7 off.
He's with a pretty easy c bet against all these people. Oh, it looks like king 7 off is actually not in the hand.
Oh, he folded.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that does. Good fold, K6.
And
Action Aaron.
He's got a pair. Can't
Action
just
Randy
fold.
and Action. We got to call him Action Randy, right?
Oh, to come up with something slightly different. It's going to be hard to get Batiste to fold now, guys.
It's going to be hard for Batiste to get paid unless these guys want to station super hard, though.
We just might see some stationing from one of these guys, not both.
I mean, that's a pretty big bet.
Randy has to fold, right? He just has. He's got no kicker. He's got some Aaron behind him. Let's see what Aaron does.
Aaron's going to fold. Come
yeah,
on.
okay. I would just want to believe. All he has to do is hit a 6 on the river. He gets to win, you know?
You got to chase the dream sometimes.
It's like the Olympics.
I was thinking a lot about that.
You know, sometimes it calls for playing every. More fun. Hey,
Let's see if Batiste is as loose as he was last week here.
Nope. 7-handed, not 6-handed. Don't worry, Randy's going to take care of it for everybody.
This is the second time Randy's had 8 deuce of clubs, and I guess he decides that's one of the hands he's playing.
It's suited,
Ooh.
and it's not connected.
It's not going to be a head in this hand. It looks like Digital Dan has him. It's kind of unfortunate how bad his opponent's hands are here, actually.
Let's see if he gets action anyway.
Relatively smallish 3-bet with 3 opponents, but I think it's going to work. If Aaron might call, if he was suited,
No.
he would definitely call, right?
Yes, for sure. I think Thorpe would do the same if he was suited, knowing what I know about him, but he's out of position with a terrible hand. It's a good
Yeah.
time to fold.
First time you tried that one.
Well, he doesn't get him cracked, but he doesn't get any action there.
Yeah.
I thought about 3-betting.
Digital Dan, by the way, likes to play big hands in lots of different ways. Sometimes he'll call with these hands. Sometimes he'll limp with these hands. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to play a little bit differently than the rest of the table. Him and Wonka tend to be tighter than the rest of the table here,
Yeah.
and it's interesting for them to try to navigate these maniacs.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. There was a lot of thought
K6
involved.
Unknown hand.
bumps it up
Shouldn't limp, I shouldn't limp, I shouldn't limp.
with the ace queen.
Reasonable. He's not a maniac either, really. He's a little looser than Wonka and Digital Dan, though.
Yeah, definitely not a maniac. But even Digital Dan can't help himself.
Ooh, and Batiste finds a fold with the 8 deuce off.
Feeling great.
These are reasonable hands to be in this pot, though, based
Of
on
course.
pre-flop action.
Not
hand the flop is best for Digital Dan here. K6's going to continue. What do you think about that?
I'm not a huge fan on this board, three ways, but, you know, let's see what happens. Dan obviously can't fold yet.
I mean, right now he's isolated against 5 high, so that's an advantage of continuing.
That is, but I assume unless he improves, Bryce is going to have to... Ooh, that's a good card to continue on if he wants to.
Dan doesn't have too many kings in his range. Bryce does.
And Digital Dan gets there.
Well, I imagine this is going to go bet, probably fold.
Yeah. And I would guess there's just no way K6 can continue here. All the draws just came in, except for 7-8.
Maybe if he was against Action Aaron, he could consider calling.
Even then, this is a tough call with ace-queen.
Yeah, it really
I mean,
is.
7-8, I think, is the only thing we can beat unless we got called by a weird gutter out of position. It's just hard to imagine.
It would be a really sick spot for a raise. We do have the Queen of Clubs blocker here, and we don't know that Dan doesn't have a flush, of course.
Yeah.
But Dan would be in a tough spot if we raised.
Yes, sure, because we can see the hands. I think if we had the ace of clubs, we could consider making that move, but I don't know about the queen of clubs is good enough. And also, honestly, Digital Dan might just call anyway.
He might, unless we size it up real big.
Yeah, that's right.
You just get a lot more to deuce for. I get. Oh, you're gonna win a big pot or lose small.
All right, here comes the action from Action Aaron. It's a reasonable open in the hijack.
Sure. This is,
I might consider 3-betting.
I think this is a 3-bet, not a call.
Calling's
most of the
okay
time.
because it's suited, though.
Yeah, and we get to be in position, and there are maniacs everywhere.
Batista's going to go ahead and 3-bet. This is the Batista I know. He's making an 80 here out of the small blind.
You can see one of the values of 3-betting the ace-5 suited, though. You're going to knock Batista out instead of now giving him the initiative and either folding or having to call. I assume we're going to call with the ace-5 of hearts.
Look at this. Aaron is looking at his
Whoa.
chips. This is living up to your name right here.
Wow. Wow.
Now, he also knows Batista's reputation. These guys can really get into it.
The difference is Batista is usually going to 3-bet with real hands.
True.
Action Aaron, as we can see, can have...
He's
just
4-bet. That's not a
anything.
3-bet. That's a 4-bet.
Yeah.
And Batista knows Action Aaron. That's why he gets to call there with the King-Jack.
This is kind of a sick flop.
Pretty unlucky for Batista, actually.
Let's see how much value Aaron can get out of this hand. Oh, that's a big bet. 225.
Very quick call from Batista,
Yep.
which is reasonable. I might want to take my time a little bit to encourage future bluffing from Aaron if I were Batista.
I think he's trying to do the opposite. He's trying to get Aaron to shut down because he's afraid he's going to fold.
But if he bets again, don't you want it to be a bluff?
Yes. But I think he's trying, by calling so quickly, I think he's trying to get Aaron to only be betting when he has it and shut down the
Ooh,
bluff.
that might shut down all the action on the river there.
Either player could take a stab at this and think they were bluffing. Batista's hand is probably just a little too good, though, to try and bluff here, right?
Well, wouldn't Aaron's be also then?
In theory, but I'm saying from their point of view, Aaron may be more apt to bluff it than Batista.
He might put Batista on some sort of ace-10 type hand.
This just got interesting.
Just now?
Oh, it got more interesting.
He's trying to decide, should he bluff it or not?
Do you think he's thinking about bluffing or value betting? I mean, I don't even know what it is.
Can't be a value bet. It has to be a bluff. He's going to make a play here.
It would be a really sick value bet.
Yeah. The reason to bluff is to try and bluff Batista off a better queen, right? Although we're chopping with all the queens anyway, so I guess that wouldn't.
No, the reason is to bet him off ace-10.
Or just king-queen. He might have to fold king-queen if we bet enough, right? Although I don't know if he really would fold.
That's okay.
He's looking down secrets.
He's thinking about it here. He's counting the chips out.
I am right. If you choose. Oh, no. No, I thought
Gotta tell you, I would have tapped the table by now and just hope I'm good.
I would tap the table as soon as Batista checked to me, I think. If you're Batista, though, you got to be saying, please check, and have 2 9s.
What
Just
do
check and
you
have
make
2
of
9s.
all this movement and contemplation on Aaron's face? What does this tell Batista? What does this tell you?
I don't know, honestly.
I'll check.
He thinks he's losing, I guess.
Batista
And
turns it over like it's the best hand.
He should expect that, and he's getting a little bit slow rolled here.
Yeah. There's the face of getting slow rolled.
I think Aaron thought he had to bluff there.
Yeah. I might have.
We're gonna get him back.
Yeah. That was interesting. You just don't see people 4-bet with queen 9 off
Steve
very
out the
often.
next 10 hands just to make it up.
Yeah, and
It's kind of a Tom Dwani type thing.
Yeah.
I would call.
So what do you do to adjust to a guy like Action Aaron when he's at your table?
I mean, for me, I think I do a lot of holding on. And I try and... There's one of two things I'm going to do. Anytime I have a strong hand, ace-queen plus, pocket 9s plus, I'm going to try and get a lot of money in pre-flop. A lot more than I normally would.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
If Action Aaron 4-bets me and I've got ace-queen, I might just decide to move in. If I've got, 100 blinds or 250 blinds, or
Right.
200 blinds even, I might... If he makes it 180, I might move in for 1,000 with my ace-queen and just say whatever.
Speaking of big hands here, K6 has big slick, as they call it, on the button, and Wonka, of course, cannot fold. It's really 3-bet or call out of the big blind with King Jack suited to a button open.
Yeah, I like the call.
I do too.
It's good. I thought you might have an. I thought you might have an ace.
I thought you might.
Well, that's not going to do much for either player.
Let's see if K6 decides to continuation. He
He
does.
does quickly.
Only 20, but I think if there was even one diamond on that board, Wonka would call.
Right,
but
2 backdoors is better than 1.
yeah, I think you just can't call with no diamonds.
I think he's already decided I got a shitty hand, and he's calling everything. And everything he calls with is better than what I have, so I... Well, that's what I thought, is I thought, if I make it 800...
Here we go.
Maybe a little bit of a tilt raise?
Maybe from that the old Queen 9 check back semi-slow roll situation that happened there.
Yeah.
Randy's going to call it the King 4 suited. I think I prefer a 3-bet there. What do you think? You like a call?
No, I think it's 3 or fold. For me. Action Aaron, we're going to play dark to his hand at least for a while.
He's not
Whoa.
good at showing the cards.
This is a good flop for Randy.
It is.
I just had no idea what
Batista's just going to kind of slow down, give up.
Does have the gutter. What should Randy bet? 40?
The what?
Half the pot's probably going to do it. Nope. Never mind.
That's an interesting... I think Batista has some plans here in case he misses.
He's going to have to.
Well, that's going to embolden Randy to continue in this hand.
It is, but he's still, if he misses spades on the river, if he doesn't improve on the river, he still can fold. Batista
Batista gives up there.
Without the spade, Randy might have checked it back, and Batista would have found some wins, but the king just makes it easy for Randy to bet again.
Maybe Batista just thought on the flop they're deep enough. It's okay to peel one off, and if I get there, maybe I can get a lot of value against a 2-pair type hand.
Yeah. He also thinks maybe Randy's the kind of guy who will pay him off.
Batista adding a little money here.
He's the kind of guy who keeps chips in his pocket. Well, he just brought those hundreds out. Those black chips in the front are $100 chips. He's looking like he's getting some more.
He doesn't like to be anywhere near short for the table, which is reasonable. Action Aaron could have anything here.
He could have Jack 7 off.
I have no guesses. Oh, that's a good guess. Jack 7 off.
Digital Dan, definitely going to find a call here. Thorpe, by the way, calling out of the small blind with Jack Deuce suited.
To be fair, the small and big blind are the same amount.
It's true. And there still is action behind him, but it's a better call than if it was a 2-5 game.
Flops bottom pair there. Randy
Backdoor.
flops top pair.
Backdoor flush draw as well.
Dan's got the backdoor nut flush draw. Randy's going to bet it. This is reasonable. Got to thin out the field here.
Absolutely. It's only $30 anyway.
Small bet, 30 into 80.
Thorpe makes an optimistic call, I would say.
He may have folded for 50, which would have been a more standard size in this type of game.
Yeah.
Well, Thorpe's not going to be folding now.
Here's the check. Let's see if Randy bets again. He's going to. I like this bet. He can check back the river if he wants.
He's charging all the draws.
Exactly.
Thorpe has too good of a draw to fold with his pair. It's also a pretty small bet from Randy, and that's a disguised way to get there for Thorpe.
Yes. He checks. I assume Randy's going to check this back. Let's see. He does.
Yeah.
That's the right move.
2K on the table.
I did. You calling a deuce?
No, that's good for you. I'm just saying.
Randy is nonplussed. I think I like a bet fold as Thorpe on the river there more than a check hero, because Randy, when he bets twice, starting to bet into 5 people, usually has something, A lot of the times it's one pair hand, especially considering his sizing.
Well, the one thing is if Randy himself has the hearts, he might feel obligated to take a shot on the river.
That's true. I mean, you have that opportunity, but I don't know. I feel like it's a bet fold spot. It
Randy-
feels like that's a higher EV play.
He probably has more aces since he bet into 5 players, or there were five,
Right.
a 5-handed pot and bet again on the turn. So I think you're probably right. There it goes.
This is a loose open here.
Any
Plus
ace will
one.
do. And it might just get through.
Digital Dan likes these connected type cards, especially out of the blinds, so I guess not. And then Batiste has the straight blockers to Digital Dan's hand.
Never.
Between these hands, we can make a straight, Jonathan.
I was thinking the same thing. Also straight flush if we get the right cards.
Well, we got a 6 for Dan, a gutter for Batiste, and nothing for Randy. Backdoor not flush draw.
Randy makes a quick check. I like that. This is a good time. Digital Dan can bet this, and although he's got a 6 and actually, with assuming he has the best hand, by betting, it almost looks like his hand is stronger than it is.
It looks like ace deuce suited or something like that.
Yeah.
Especially the sizing, he bets 2/3 pot. In contrast to Randy's sizing in the last hand, it's a much stronger size.
Yeah, this is a perfectly fine bet, of course.
But Randy gives up the ace right away, which is not a great sign for the bet. So if you get seated at a table, you got Randy and Action Aaron on your left. Is your opening range tighten or loosen?
I mean, you're saying you guys, but my answer is it definitely tightens. How about for you?
It tightens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to be 4-betting a lot.
Exactly. This is what I was saying. Like, I got 2 9s. I'm just going to 4-bet these guys and get it in, by the way, and
Right.
call it off. So every time they have me, they're going to get paid.
Yep. That's part of the advantage of their style.
Yeah, but the other side of it is I'm going to pick up a lot of reasonable sized pots without having to do anything except just re-raise. Or inflate a pot where I've got a huge range advantage.
Right.
Both are really good, and it's tough when they're on your left. They're going to make your life hard. You also have to close your eyes and call a lot.
Yeah,
against
that's
guys
not
like
that's
that.
not the most fun.
Nope.
Meanwhile, we have Thorpe flopping a gutter here. This is a bad flop for Action Aaron having Thorpe flat, but he's going to continue anyway. Sizable continuation, 40 into 50.
And it works easily.
Thorpe just gives it up.
That's way too big a bet to call with 2 spades on board.
You're going to see a lot of this type of stuff from Action Aaron. He does not give up. That's part of his action,
He also sizes pretty big for the most part, which makes him interesting, Like, I know the pot wasn't huge. There was only $50 in it, but he bets 80% a pot. And just thinking about his style in general, he often bets a higher percentage of the pot than a lot of players.
It's tough to play against. This is real money on the table. When you've got middle pair and he bets $400, it doesn't feel so good,
Yeah.
You'll have more fun when it's
He's got another real hand.
Wonka just folded the queen 10 off.
Wonka is going to play against the table's style, it
Yep.
seems. He's going to be a bit tight.
Not the worst idea.
I agree. Ooh, Batiste is not having it.
He could very reasonably call here, but he's making a different decision.
He's 3-betting to 80. I think I might have expected a bit of a bigger 3-bet,
Yeah, with-
especially with Action Aaron opening, maybe 100.
Also, this many players already in. It's going to force more people to call.
Maybe he wants the action.
With 6 high?
Because I'm in a hand that I kind of like.
kind of like the Claire. Kind of like.
I kind of like the.
That was an impressive
Opportunity.
rendition of 80s dance moves by Mark Down.
The Jets weren't too happy about it. The solution.
Aaron doesn't like folding. It's a reasonable call.
It's barely reasonable, but it's reasonable.
Digital Dan is now forced into calling.
For sure. That's the most reasonable decision I think anyone's made in this hand. Digital Dan calling this 3-bet.
But he's wanted to build a pot,
Yeah, let's see what happens. Big flop for Digital Dan.
Well, that's why we said Digital Dan made the best decision.
Yeah, that's
Because he
right.
flops 2 pair.
By the way, Action Aaron's got the gutter to the nuts.
They're favored for the first time this
Batiste has 2 back doors. They're not great back doors. And he's got the lead, so can't check here. He's betting 160.
I mean, he's repping an overpair, so interesting spot for Action Aaron.
He's going to find a fold here, right?
I mean, he should, but I didn't know if he would.
Does Dan raise or call here? What do you think's better?
I mean, it depends on how often we think Batiste is wide. I like a call, I think, because if Batista's got like the aces, he's probably going to bet the turn anyway. What do you think?
Yeah. Also, we can see Batista has 6-4. So we know. Well, what I mean by that is
Yeah.
we know that type of thing is in his range.
Yeah, he can have a lot of things here, and he has a lot of ace highs and things like that.
Well, that's an
Whoa.
interesting card. Batista turns open-ended.
He sure does. Ooh, he could take the free card here if he wants, and just Digital Dan will never know what hit him. I guess if a 7 comes, that'll slow the action down anyway, though. It's just a deuce, really, for Batiste to get seriously paid.
He's putting Digital Dan on a 1-pair hand and repping an overpair here.
By the way, 6-7 does get there, which would seem to be more in Digital Dan's range than
It's a
Batiste.
big bet, by the way.
It's a humongous bet. 345. I guess.
He's saying
I
go
guess
away.
There was 590 in the pot, but it feels big for this game
Yeah.
so far. It's the biggest bet that's happened so far in the evening.
He's saying go away with your 9-10, Dan. 9-10 is no good.
Yeah, it feels like, or Jack 10. Don't draw on me,
And
buddy.
you know what? I think it would work against 9-10.
I think it would. I think it would work against Jack 10 also. Dan just moved
Oh,
in.
he just moved in.
Well, that's going to be the end of this.
Batista doesn't look so sure.
I don't know how he can. I don't know why he hasn't already folded. I understand he doesn't like that he just put 345 in, but he's got 1.1K left.
It's just an open-ender on the turn.
I mean, if he finds a call here, it's just a massive tilt call, right?
Yep.
That's all it could be. This is a tilt tank.
I think so.
I mean, get ready for the mean YouTube comments, Batiste, because people are not going to like this. He's asking for a count. Looks like. I mean, this would be absurd.
He came here ready to gamble, I guess.
I mean,
He's thinking about that pot that we just saw there.
there is about $2,000 in the pot. That Batiste could win anyway, but it would cost him $1,100 to take a shot. By the way, he could be drawing dead to 6-7 right here.
That's a really good point.
Also, he's got 6 high and 1 card to come. How about that? That's a really good point too, right?
yeah, it is.
This is crazy that he's thinking this. Like, is he going to find a call?
He can't.
It seems this guy is a WSOP circuit main event champion.
Yeah, he knows not to call here. He just wants to. He just wants to call.
Yeah. What? It's not like it's almost like he's trying to protect his image a little bit. Like his aces.
He's trying to get a read on Dan. I don't know why. He has
It
6.
doesn't matter what Dan has,
Yeah.
right? Dan has Jack 10. You're
Go
screwed.
with the first 2 choices.
Is this an open?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I ask?
Jack 10 kills your 7.
It does. But it opens up your 6
Six
and
is
your
in
4.
That's true, actually. I guess you do want to Jack 10.
This is a should I gamble tank, I think.
The answer is no.
The answer is no. He's going to fold. Look at him.
There we go.
Finally found the right move. Hopefully that jacket has a lot of pockets.
That was an absurd tank for a guy as accomplished as Batiste.
Yes, it was.
Absolutely absurd.
I was gonna say 4 deuce.
He wants to get himself to a spot where he has like 7K in front of him so he can just get into all these pots with Randy and Aaron, I think. So maybe he's willing to gamble in spots like that. He's considering that.
I mean, maybe. But I don't think there's any justification for taking that long with 6 high and getting those pot odds from a player as accomplished as him.
Well, I guess you're going to have words with him.
I guess so.
Dan opening it up, feeling good after that win.
He's got to play the 8-7. He played the 9-8. It worked out.
Hey, he got called by 5-4, so he knows what he's doing. And King 3, which is better than 8-7 technically.
He's dominated, though, by Wonka's Jack 8.
Some of it, yeah.
Well, Dan flopped pretty well here. Randy flopped top pair. These two are probably going to get into it a little bit.
Digital Dan with the continue.
Oh, what is K6 doing here?
I don't know.
This is a float.
Wow. With 2 other players behind. It can't feel good when Randy calls so quickly and you're floating with
No.
the 5 high.
He's just deciding to float here and try to take it away later, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. I mean, it could be.
That's a great card for his float, by the way.
I mean, it's going to be hard for anyone. If no one has a 9, I think you're going to have to take a shot right now. Yep.
This is good. I'm glad that if he's floating, he's going to take a shot on this card.
And what is Randy supposed to do with no kicker on his king?
I mean, I would fold.
You have to fold.
And he's going to do so pretty quickly.
Good job,
Board
Randy.
pairs, Dan pretty much has to fold as well. This is going to work. I don't know, though.
Wait. Not just
Never mind.
yet.
It's not going to work.
All right. K6, 460 behind.
Could Dan win this pot with 8 high?
Can't imagine
Nope.
it.
He can't. Because
Dan's going to have to turn his hand into a bluff right now, and I don't see it happening.
I don't know how the powers. Do you think the president knows that's part of the U.S. territory?
I can't believe how well this worked out for K6.
He made up a country today.
Did he?
Dan considered bluffing there, I think, but decided against it. And I think K6 is going to bluff again.
Yeah, I think that's the move. He got called. He's got to turn his hand to a bluff.
Yeah, I mean, you don't put Dan on 7-8. You put him on a king some of the time.
How much did he bet here? Doesn't matter. 175. Okay.
Big bet. That probably would have worked against a lot of kings as well.
I mean, he's repping a 9, and his story does make sense.
I don't hate the line. The only issue I have with it is that he floated with 2 players behind, including Randy, who hates folding.
Also, he's floating with no equity,
Yeah.
which I don't love. You gotta have some equity, right? Give me a gut shot. Give me something. Give me back doors.
But I like that he's showing us some moves there, you know?
That was
That is
legit.
not ABC.
And he did it with the button in front of him, which is got to be his reason for doing it, right?
Of course.
That was sweet.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
Maybe he's got a little more moves than we were saying, you know? We were saying he wasn't the big action at the table. He's got the action behind
That was
him.
action.
That was legit action.
I just got the 5 deuce. Let's see if he...
I mean, you got to play that if you
It's,
just won
it's
the
hard
last
to
one.
it's hard to float when you're the initial raiser, though, so I don't know how he's going to pull this one off.
We'll see. All it takes is for someone to donk into him.
Action Aaron, not great at putting his cards in the box.
There we go.
There we go. Queen 4.
Sharon just...
I mean, he's way ahead and he knows it.
Yep. Not anymore. But there he goes.
He's leading.
So now you can float, except you have a pair. So
No,
you
it's
can
not really
float.
floating. It's just
not
kind
a
of
float, no.
stationing
Yeah,
at
you're
this
right.
point.
It's not a float.
And a backdoor flush draw, by the way.
A backdoor straight draw. Tough for Aaron to keep going on
Yeah,
this card.
it's tough for him to rep anything at this point, unless it's 5-6.
Oh, K6 checks it back. That would have been a good spot to bluff. Turn your hand into a bluff, I think.
Is Aaron going to bet here? Once he kind of got the green light with a check on the turn, don't you think?
I think so. But he
No, he
checks
just kind of
again.
gives it up. And it goes check, check. And K6 gets to win with 2 5-high pre-flop moves.
Pretty amazing. This was a smaller pot, though, than the last one.
Yeah. Maybe his name should be 5-high instead of K6.
That's a great thought. I love that.
I'll tell him about
Yeah,
it.
talk to him.
Yeah.
Let's look at that board. I really wanted to know what you thought.
I know. I started to say 10s or jacks.
I was gonna
And
say.
then I'm like,
But he's definitely opening this hand. $20, he says. Is there a 5 in K6's hand? Yes, there is. He's
Oh,
got
there's
5-high again.
Wow. All right, let's start calling him 5-high.
Yeah, he's
You
5-high.
got it. You did it. You got us there, Grant.
Digital Dan has the best hand of the bunch here. Well, kind of. Batiste has technically the best hand. Digital Dan's feels the best in a multi-way pot.
Digital Dan has the most equity.
K6 has a pretty nice hand for a multi-way pot as well.
Yeah, unlike Thorpe and Randy, which are going to need some help.
Well,
K6, or 5-high as we like to call
5-high. He's in seat 5. He's going to bet it. I like that.
Yep, me
A
too.
lot of opponents.
I don't know if he's going to get any action at all, though.
Getting raised would be kind of poopy here, actually.
Poopy, but not foldy.
Not foldy, but you wouldn't feel great.
Digital Dan thinking. He's got the overs and the backdoor flush draw, but just folds correctly.
Batiste can't really check fold with this hand.
I mean, into this many players, he could have considered it.
He could consider it, but it's pretty weak. At this point, he can.
See if K6 pulls the trigger here. Nope.
Nope.
Well, he's definitely going to get value on the river.
Give him a little rope. That's what they say. That's what Vince Van Patten would say. Or no, twigs and the berries.
He says all the things.
Who uses berries for a trap, by the way?
It's a fair question. Batiste does find a check, and it's going to be an easy value bet here for.
And it's probably going to be
K6.
an easy fold for Batiste.
Well, 6-7 missed, and you don't think he'd bet an 8, right?
He blocks 6-7 pretty heavily with two
He
sevens
does.
in your hand.
But I'm just saying, 9. There's not much else to think about, right? 9-7 actually got there. 4-6 missed.
I guess I just suck today.
Whoa,
I
he's going to
understand
pay
this
it
call.
off.
It just doesn't make sense. The bet doesn't really make sense.
Because he didn't bet the turn?
He didn't back the turn, and so if he had an 8, you wouldn't expect him to value bet the river. If he had a 5, you'd expect him to value bet the turn. So he would have to spike a jack on the river, is basically what
Yeah,
you'd
you know,
expect.
those are pretty good points. I can understand the call.
That check was sneaky and earned K6 an extra $100.
Yeah. Batiste's been running into it a little bit today so far.
Yeah. He could have just folded on the flop, honestly, the 5-5-8 flop. And
He could have. I mean,
when
all of the
K6
cards beat you, obviously.
And K6 bet into a lot of people. He could have just avoided all that, but it's not too bad to be a station in these games.
The Gibbons.
That is the Gibbons.
James Hardigan. I'm just quoting all the other announcers today. That's my plan.
Everyone loves that.
Randy's going to open it up with the Jack 3 suited.
And Action Aaron says, not on my watch, buddy.
He either knows something or he has earned the nickname Action Aaron.
I think it's the latter. So K6 with the actual hand is probably not going to be able to continue. The
None
only
of,
guy who
none
has
of this
anything
would have
to do.
happened if he just opened under the gun normally, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been 4-bet, right? It would have been at most 3-bet, and he would have been able to call. Instead, he throws it away.
Randy's not interested in folding.
This is what you want to see. You want to see these two guys butt heads. It's like Godzilla versus Mothra.
Or Mecha Godzilla.
Oh, I wish. Can't wait for that movie.
All right. Well, this is probably in Action Aaron's favor here. He's just going to c-bet.
I mean, I can't imagine him doing anything but c-bet, and it's hard to imagine Randy calling or continuing. I guess he could just raise, but it seems so unlikely.
He's looking at his chips.
Oh, my gosh.
These guys are
He
amazing.
calls. He's got 2 back doors. That's going to shut. This is going to work, right? I mean, it's going to have to shut down Aaron.
That's actually a good representation of an ace.
Yes.
His plan is to rep an ace later, and it's a good way to do it.
They both pick up gut shots on the turn.
Because you wouldn't check raise an ace, right? You wouldn't check raise
No.
ace 10, ace 9 there.
Absolutely not.
It's a cool play. I assume he's hoping for a check back, and he's going to bet the river.
I would assume you're right. Let's see if Aaron decides to give up here.
This is what it's turned into?
Batiste down there. You got me mixed up with someone.
He has 14.
And there it is.
Randy's plan is coming to fruition. That's a great card to rep as well.
Yes.
He could have a 6 or an ace now.
Very reasonably. And he would bet an ace, and he'd bet a 6.
This is a great play by Randy.
Let's see how much he bets. 250. Jacks go away. That's what that bet
This
is.
would be the best call I've ever seen.
Also an absolutely impossible call that will not happen.
There's no draws that missed. You can't call here.
Correct. Even the gutters have you beat.
Highway robbery, man.
Show it, Randy. Show them all.
You see that? He said highway robbery. I stole that. He wasn't lying.
He's telling the truth and he didn't show it. That's an interesting move. Makes you think he really did have it if you're at the table, you
when
know?
he says that, you.
I really like Randy's line there. What about you?
I mean, I don't like a lot of it, but I like it once you're up against Aaron. If you decide you don't want to fold, that's a great way to.
Well,
not
I mean,
fold.
opening Jack 3 against
calling a 3-bet,
right? No, all of that is
calling
probably,
a raise, calling a bet out of position on that flop. That's
See,
questionable.
I don't
too.
know. I kind of like if you're going to continue in the hand, calling over
Yeah.
raising.
Oh no, that's the part I agree with. Once we get to that, that's the thing where then the rest of it's cool. Like you actually lose the minimum and win the maximum probably by playing it that
I
way.
respect the creativity a lot.
Me too. And he thought about it
Yeah, he really did.
because a lot of people might raise there, which also would have worked.
It would
but
have, but it's not a good way to rep an ace.
much harder to rep it.
In the box store. Cards in the box. Yeah.
Batiste doing our job for us. Thorpe's going to open it up now. He knows Action Aaron's Action Aaron.
He wants to play and is going to call with the 10-8 suited.
Batiste is not afraid to give action.
That is clear. Let's see if Action Aaron just throws it away. Throws away the best hand. That's hard to believe.
It's a trouble hand, you know. He knows, and he knows it.
He's right to throw it away. I just didn't know he had it in him.
And look at what position Batiste is in now. He's got way the best of it. Although he's likely to lose this hand.
And as you say away the best of it, he's probably going to check fold. Thorpe does continue.
The 6 of hearts is the key card, Jonathan.
Yes, it is.
It's a small continue.
Batiste just has to fold anyway.
Yeah.
There's no diamonds on that board. There's not a whole lot of hope. It turns out there is equity-wise, but he can't know that.
I could watch this table for days.
These guys are great. These are not moves you really see very often in at this level of stakes, or really any level of stakes.
No. Maybe like some less thought out 1 cent, 2 cent play or something. but
Sure, but it's less thought out, you know.
Right.
So it's different kinds of moves. It's just people.
I gotta believe Wonka's gonna play this even under the gun. Look at this. He's making an adjustment here.
He's sizing it up big time. I
this
love it.
Wonka is a true pro.
Yeah.
He's mostly a cash game pro.
Yes.
He understands the table dynamic that's going on here, and he realizes he can get value and fold out his opponents more by sizing it up here. It's a really cool strategy.
He's going to get a lot more heads-up situations, although not here, rather than 4 and 5 away pots, which is what we've been seeing a lot of.
Well, he kind of ran into it here, and Batista's going to – that's an interesting to 3-bet there.
I think he just feels there's so much value in action era and stuff like that.
He's got to be a little afraid of Wonka's range here. This is near the bottom of Wonka's range.
I mean, this is going to be a 3-bet fold to a big 4-bet, I think, for Batiste, because Wonka's has not done anything in this game. He's the only guy who's done nothing, right? Maybe Digital Dan. So you just can't – but it's okay to do this. Now, the question for Wonka is, do you call or fold? Looks like he's going to give it up.
Reasonable.
Totally reasonable. Thorpe cannot fold here.
Part of opening so big is that it polarizes our opponent's 3-betting range a little bit more, too. It's a little bit easier to play against their 3-betting range.
Yeah. It's interesting Thorpe's thinking. I assume he's thinking about shoving or calling.
Yeah.
I feel like a shove is right based on Batista's stack size.
Yeah, he hasn't asked for a count, though. He may not realize the size that Batiste has here, because Batiste did start with 2,000.
This hand is just a little too good to throw away right now.
Yeah, throwing it away would be a little bit ridiculous against this table dynamic.
I think we just got to go with this hand. But Thorpe is going to call instead. Now he's out of position. If he doesn't spike a pretty good flop, he's just going to lose right here, I think.
And Wonka's opening size has made this pot way bigger for one of these guys to win.
That's right. That's right. Well, we know what's going to happen now.
Batiste is going to win this pot. I'm going to call it.
Yeah, I assume Batiste is going to make a big bet.
He just moves all in.
Yeah. And his queen can't really do anything except throw it away.
He can't.
And I wish I'd called. 5-9 of diamonds. Never could have got
Batiste needed that win. It's been a bit of a downhill slide so far for him.
Price playing 4-5.
I want to talk a little bit more about Wonka's strategy to open bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have thought of doing that if I were him, but I think it's very interesting. It puts you in some scary spots sometimes, you know, but it's also, you're going to accomplish a lot more value in the end against really loose players.
I mean, you have to trust yourself and believe you know what you're doing and can make great decisions. But I think I really like how Wonka's playing. He's playing different than the rest of the table pretty significantly, right? He's sizing differently. He's playing a different range of hands than everyone else. I think this is really going to be to his benefit overall on this kind of a table.
A lot of players in cash games, especially talkative cash games like this one, will kind of default to the table style.
Exactly. Oh, they're playing a lot of hands, and I should play a lot of hands.
Right.
And Wonka, so far anyway, hasn't done that. Wonka and K6 both flop the best.
I imagine K6 has the best chance to win this hand.
Well,
Randy's going to call. He's got the backdoor nut flush draw. And Wonka will fold, which is reasonable.
Yeah. Wow. All the draws coming in.
He just goes check, check super fast there.
When I say all the draws, I just mean one of them, of course.
So Randy, if he doesn't take a stab here, just calling for his equity on the flop, which is sometimes ahead. Backdoor nut flush draw.
I think Randy's supposed to bet here, but he checks instead. Aren't we supposed to bet to try and fold out a jack? Because, like, a lot of the draws...
Oh, right. King, jack, jack 9.
Yeah, like, spades are... Okay, spades would probably bluff us anyway, and we have the ace of spades, but the jack will probably fold if we bet enough, right? Have to strongly consider it.
Definitely.
Maybe not. Maybe the jack will hold on.
At this table, it's more likely the jack will hold on.
I don't know. It's easy to make a big bet. It's harder to call a big bet, right?
I think that was Phil Hellmuth who said that.
I don't know if it was or not, but, you're stealing from all the greats. Why can't I?
Whoa, wait. Not many.
Has I said the thing about making a trap out of berries?
Yeah.
Like Vince Van Patten does?
The greats.
He doesn't catch many animals.
He's not much of a hunter, that guy. K6 probably supposed to open this one from the cutoff. He's going to limp. And Randy just says raise. And makes it $10.
Well, that's interesting.
Well, he's doing something different than the rest of the table at least, but this is crazy.
He's basically just increasing the stakes of a limp pot.
If I'm Action Aaron, I would put in a big raise here.
And Action Aaron is Action Aaron, but he's just going to call.
Yeah.
Okay, we're playing 5-10 now.
Might have scared him a little bit that Randy sized it like that. Maybe he thought he was trying to get somebody to do something. I don't know.
Fine. We can find out later.
We got 2 10s flopped here and a 7.
Also, the king of clubs is in Randy's hand. Randy flopped really well.
He did.
So Action Aaron, Wonka, and Wonka's got to like his hand too. By
Absolutely.
The way. This could get ugly.
Action Aaron leads out, by the way. What do you think about that?
I think it's fine into this many people. I mean, it'd be nice to have a club in your hand, but we're gonna call one bet anyway. It's fine to bet.
It's a bet fold spot, though, right?
I mean, for me, I don't know if it is for him. I mean, it depends on who the opponent is, of course.
All right, that card rarely changes anything here. 4-6 gets there, but excuse me, not 4-6, 6-9. Nope, that's not
8-6.
8-6. I figured it out.
Yeah.
Brain-
You're not too worried about 8-6.
Brain no work.
Randy calls, and now it's an interesting spot for Wonka. Is his club good? Is his 10 good?
Yeah, this is a weird spot. Like, you could go either way. I don't think you can raise, but you can call or fold, and both would seem okay to me.
Against one opponent, I think it's a really clear call. Against two, it's close, and you can see he's thinking about it. I think he's going to find a call with top pair against these opponents, though.
I'd be
ultimately.
concerned that the nightmare scenario is happening here,
Yeah,
where,
which it is.
well, no, more nightmare than
Oh.
this, where Action Aaron has a baby flush and Randy's got the ace of clubs in his hand.
Oh. Well, here we go. So Wonka could really have to pay off now. I don't know how he's going to not pay off. Let's find out if he can get away from this. I don't see how he can, though.
I don't either.
Randy's going to bet a lot on a lot of rivers when it checks to him here, whether he has it or not. He's definitely going to bet this one.
340 in the pot. Let's see how he sizes it.
I'd like to see pretty big sizing. 200.
Looks like 200, yeah.
Pretty good sizing there. I think that's fine. I mean, doesn't Wonka have to call? I mean, have to is a strong word, but should
What are Randy's bluffs? That's the question. See, there's the answer. That's
thinking.
the problem.
Yeah, I guess that's what Wonka came to also ultimately.
He
Is
just had that big empty space in his head when he tried to come up with the bluffs.
yeah, it's hard to come up with something that makes sense that wouldn't just be able to check back comfortably, right?
Right.
You'd have to be turning like 8-9 into a bluff or something.
Yeah, or just doing some sort of random float against 2 players twice.
You can't imagine that.
Yeah, so I think it's actually a really good fold.
Look at Wonka's face. He started just checking out Randy, trying to decide, was that okay? Did I do good? You did good, Wonka.
Well done.
Are we pronouncing that right, guys? Namibia?
Namibia? The
Namibia.
president said it Namibia. Namibia.
Namibia. Yeah, Namibia. That's what it is.
Namibia,
Namibia, yeah.
But he said in a UN speech today, Namibia.
He did.
Yeah. Or yeah. Whatever.
All right, gotta see K6 open here, obviously. He does not have 5 high this time.
Yep. Not yet.
Not yet. How is that gonna happen?
Thorpe gonna call with the queen 6 off. He is closing the action. That's all I got.
Yeah. Well, K6 is a massive favorite at this point.
You expect him to c-bet and just take it down.
He checks it. That's
Interesting.
That's deceptive. I would have bet, but I like the deception there.
Let's see if Action Aaron decides to take a stab now.
He can't help himself. He's going to.
That's 40. K6 forced to call once.
It's reasonable to take a stab when it checks around on the flop. You'd
Yeah.
expect on a wet board if anybody had, or especially if K6 had, ooh, K6 makes the nuts.
Aaron probably going to give up on this card.
Yeah, probably. See, if K6 had a pair on that board, it's pretty wet. You'd expect him to bet. So Aaron's bluff makes sense to me on the turn there.
Yeah. Also picked up some equity on the turn. 6, of course, makes him a straight.
Now he's got a double gutter on the river.
I mean, you got to bet then, right?
Yeah.
Got to build a pot for when you get
Set
there.
your price.
Oh, gotcha.
It's really in the tank here. There it is. There's the give up.
He knows King Queen is in K6's range there.
Well, also, so it's just an ace period.
Right. This
Ace
is bad news for K6. He's all excited now, but he can't get any value unless Aaron does a crazy check raise.
I mean, I don't think he's that excited. He's got to assume it's mostly not going to get called when the ace hits and Aaron checks, right?
Well, he can be excited he gets to win the money in the middle, you know?
Yeah,
That's nice.
that part's nice.
I know.
And there goes the money in the middle.
And Aaron shows it, proving his name again.
It's an interesting thing to show cards that really
I have.
continue to like back up the image that is already cemented in everyone's mind
Yeah.
versus something that would go the other way.
Look at this. Randy is outdoing both Batiste and Action Aaron in pre-flop raises.
Look at Thorpe down at 7%. He hasn't had very many hands, I guess, to open with, but
Our sample
at
size is
that.
still pretty small, to be fair.
yeah.
Not 5 high. He's going to fold it. Randy's going to open to... Oh, it's 15. I thought it was 10 for a second. Again. Aaron with the 3-bet.
Really does have him dominated.
I don't think Randy is going to fold. I don't think he should for this price.
No, I don't think he should either. I mean, I don't know if he should be opening ace-3 off, but he certainly shouldn't be folding for this much more. Especially against Action Aaron's range.
These two are kind of wrestling for table captain at this moment.
I agree. So far, Action Aaron's had the best of it, though. It seems to me.
Well, Randy's had a couple big pots go his way.
Sure,
The Jack 3 hand, that was cool.
that was really cool. Action Aaron, of course, himself 4-betting the Queen 9 offsuit into a big pot for himself.
Don't read the
I'm
comments.
thinking next time
That's
we
you
should
pay
get-
the price, you know.
we should get you a shirt that says "White as
One
Missouri."
heck of a poker game we got here.
Yeah, I really wish I could get these guys together every week in poker time.
We're going to try.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Commentaries I've ever heard in my life.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, white as the plains of Missouri. Yes.
His range is wide these days.
These days.
These days.
Action Aaron, no action. Thorpe's going to open this on the button for
Better
sure.
size up.
Raise 20.
Not sized up.
Batiste told him to. In Batiste's own big blind. He has a very easy call with the 5-4 suited here. I don't imagine one bet's going to work for Thorpe.
35.
No, with the backdoor clubs and backdoor straight as well as the pair, no way.
Yeah. That's not a card Batiste wanted to see.
Second barrel might work now, and you do pick up some equity, but Thorpe checks
This
it
is a
back.
good card to barrel on because you pick up the equity.
I agree.
It goes probably check on this river, right?
Wait.
Nope.
Trying to fold out like 2 7s?
I guess, yeah.
not gonna work.
It's pretty unlucky for Batiste that Thorpe got there with a 10 on the river.
I mean, it's sort of unlucky, but it does sort of say something, too, that like Thorpe called so quickly. So he might have called with 2 7s that quickly.
He might
too.
have, yeah.
So then I don't know what value we were trying to get here. Or, sorry, value is the wrong word. I don't know if there was any value in bluffing there. But
Maybe
you
it was
can't
a
know
value
that.
bet.
Trying to get called by king high
Yeah.
or deuces?
Got to explore the possibilities.
Yeah.
With poker guys.
You guys can't see Grant's face. He's clearly being sarcastic.
I don't know. What if we did get called by King High?
Well, then we would go crazy and say that was accidental.
I'm sure there's more endorphins firing off in there this
No,
morning.
it's. I've lost in the poker.
Raise.
Queen 4 suited is a beautiful hand for Action Aaron. It's like Queen Jack suited for a normal person.
Digital Dan not going to be folding this one. Now, you could really 3-bet here, but it's okay to flat.
I would default to flatting, certainly.
You get to isolate if you 3-bet. That's the thing.
Right. Now Batiste my 3-bet. Oh,
Yeah.
no, he's just going to call.
Wouldn't it be nice to knock Batiste and K6 out, though, and get Aaron all to yourself in position with what is likely a better hand? It sounds pretty good to me.
I mean, yeah, you say all those things that are nice, but also getting 4-bet, not so fun.
Well, we're not going to fold. That's all. We just know we're not going to fold.
So it's a higher variance move.
Well, he's not going to 4-bet all the time. He's 4-bet once so far tonight.
Yeah, he's 4-bet 100% of his 4-bets.
That's a weird thing to say. Batiste makes the straight, and that's it.
Action Aaron's got the flush draw now.
And a straight draw. Although that straight draw is
Not a
everyone-
good straight draw.
It's everyone's straight draw.
Yeah, it's not really a straight draw.
But it looks like a straight draw. Digital Dan gets out of the way.
Is that the name of your poker book number 2? It looks like a straight draw.
6 pairs on the river. Batista's got to love his hand. I like this check.
This is a great check.
Give Action Aaron a chance to fire away.
I think this is a phenomenal check against Action Aaron specifically. There's 2 missed club draws out there.
Wow, he just checks it back. That's a heck
Ooh,
of a check.
that hurts.
I would have fired his Action Aaron for sure. there.
Yeah.
I feel forced to. That is a tough. I mean, you weren't going to make money either way, so it still is the right play by Batiste. But that hand is supposed to take a shot.
That was an impressive check in my mind because in the moment there, I think I probably would have kind of autopilot bet.
Yeah, me
but
too.
Upon thinking about it a little bit more, I think the check is definitely more plus EV against Aaron's range there because Aaron's got a lot of misses. He's going to have to bet there.
Are you talking about from Batiste?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I'm just loving the check back by Aaron. That's the part that I'm impressed by because I would feel autopilot that I have to bluff that river.
Well, I guess it's the two most exciting checks we've ever seen.
Those are pretty sweet.
Raise 20.
Action Aaron has once again refused to show us his cards by accident.
Yeah, it's definitely not on purpose.
Look at this, Digital Dan.
There we go.
Recognizing Aaron's frequency of playing and 3-betting the King 9 suited.
Think about how hard it's going to be for Aaron to 3-bet Digital Dan.
You mean 4-bet, huh?
Whatever. To re-raise Digital Dan, it's just hard. Randy, though, with the 5
Getting
deuce.
in there with the 5 deuce. I'm excited to find out what Aaron has. Maybe we will sometime.
Yep. There you go. Hey!
Digital Dan has got a really good shot here to win this hand.
Will Digital Dan take a shot, though?
I believe he will.
You're repping jacks, Digital Dan. Go ahead and bet it. There we go.
I might have liked to see a bigger 3-bet size initially from Dan.
Agreed. I think 60 is way better than 50, especially against a guy like Aaron who's almost always going to call, have a worse hand. You make the pot bigger now when you likely have the best hand and all the initiative.
And
I love
sometimes
it.
you get to fold them out, which is fine too.
Yeah. But you're also, and you get to isolate a little bit more of the time. Like, you can't love it when Randy flats there. Although Randy's wide enough, maybe it's okay. I never would have thought he'd be flatting with a hand like that, though. I might be intimidated and just check if I was Digital Dan because of that flat from Randy.
Yeah, I mean, that
honestly.
looks like 2 9s or 2 jacks.
It does.
Something like that.
It's like, how am I gonna get that guy to fold?
You guys might win this year, but it ain't gonna be like last year.
All right, so Wonka's under. Oh, Action Aaron's under the gun. I see.
Not anymore.
Okay, Thorpe's under the gun. Plus 1.
Yeah, Grant's obviously joking. People don't get up all in the comments on him there.
Whoever is acting now is under the gun, Jonathan. That's what it means.
Randy with a pretty straightforward call, and Wonka's forced to call also. Oh, no, he's not. Sorry, I
Wonka
assumed
does
he was
not,
calling there.
Wonka does not want to do that.
Wow.
He's going to play his hands that are not that
I would
hand.
think you'd want to have Randy's huge stack and be in position on it, and Randy's play and be in position on that too. But I guess Wonka doesn't want to.
Randy with a quick call with 2 overs.
Yep. And a backdoor.
That's a great card for Thorpe. Picks up the nut flush draw and a straight draw.
It's true. And he's going to continue. You got to believe this is.
This is the right move here. I would bet probably if I were him. Randy doesn't have a ton of trips in his range when he doesn't raise the flop.
Randy's thinking though. Is he going to find a raise
Ooh,
here?
he's got nefarious intent, this guy.
No.
Oh, he lost his nerve there. That's too bad because that would have been interesting to see.
Head out.
So do I.
Look at that. Action Aaron living up to his name.
And Randy right behind him.
Yeah.
And Wonka, like we were saying, playing different than the rest of the table. Batiste, who played so many hands the last week,
He's changing his image.
he's playing less hands, and the rest of the table's playing more hands. It does just go to show you, though, in these kinds of action environments, you c-bet the flop, you get called, people call you all the time with no pair. All the time.
Yeah.
It's really I think it's really notable because it's so easy to put someone on a pair when you bet once and they call.
Right. You don't put him on Queen High that often.
Right.
You don't put K6 on 4-5 on the King 9-7 board or whatever it was.
I think it's a really good argument for just continuing a lot more often on the turn than you otherwise might.
I'm just trying to be funny.
Like in a tournament setting where chips are
Right.
more valuable, you just have to continue more.
And we've got, I think Batiste raised it to 10.
He did, and Randy 3-bet to 15.
Yeah, that's what happened. It's like, looks like we're playing limit now.
What is happening?
These guys are just doing weird stuff right now.
Yeah.
No, then it just never ends.
I know.
So you got a jacket.
Randy, by the way, has 10 deuce.
Offsuit.
Gotta love it.
Action Aaron with the best of it.
And Randy's going to continue his story. Bet's pretty small here, 30. Aaron can't fold, obviously.
Digital Dan with the gutter.
I like the call here. Everybody's pretty deep.
Also, having Aaron and Randy in the hand means they may just bomb the heck out of it.
If we get there, they don't necessarily have to have something to give us money because
Right.
they might decide to bluff.
Absolutely. Digital Dan improves, though, and this is one of the problems with calling. is now we may have to call again.
I don't know if we do.
Let's see how things get sized.
Can I get an XT?
I mean, the other side, though, is it may check through sometimes. Let's see if Aaron bets.
He's going to check. He thought about betting there.
Will Randy bet? Yes,
Yes.
he will. Oh,
He's got no quit in him.
the heart.
It's like 105. No, 80.
Just 80.
I can't see Aaron folding here.
Aaron's not the type of guy who's going to fold top pair in this spot. And, you know, he probably shouldn't be.
No, but to Randy's credit, you don't necessarily put Aaron on an ace when he calls you once on the flop. So this is going to work at least some of the time.
Digital Dan does have to fold now.
Yeah.
Probably range every time.
Also, when you do get there with the 10, everyone's going to be more scared of it anyway because the jack came.
I imagine it's going to be hard to get Action Aaron to fold here. Maybe a really big size can get it done.
Randy's willing to bet big on the river. I know that. This is another one of those spots, though, when Aaron calls the turn, what is he supposed to have? I guess you pray he has a jack in his hand.
Ooh,
like
Aaron
queen
looks
jack.
like he's betting. I don't think I like that.
No, what is he doing?
What are we trying to get value from here?
King? I don't know.
We're not bluffing, right?
We're not bluffing. We're not value betting. We're just putting chips in the middle. And maybe he's trying to, like, block, but he bets so big.
That's
he's
not a
really
blocker
blocking.
bet. Yeah. I think that's the first big slip up I've seen from Aaron so
Yeah.
far today.
That one didn't seem to have any. That was a game theory disaster bet. Right
Yeah.
there. We don't see too many of those, but that was one of them.
I'm pretty sure Randy was going to call with ace 10 there. So
Yeah,
we're not
I'm
we're not
sure
going
he
to
was.
bluff out a better hand. Maybe sometimes we can get value from a worse ace, but that's so much less frequent than Randy barreling a bluff on the river against us.
Right. It's not the end of the world for it to go check, and we don't mind him barreling, like betting big, if we're going to put in 200 of our own money anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the last hand of this episode.
This has been fun.
But check back on the Poker Guys channel for the next episode of this session, because this session goes on a long time,
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
It gets crazy.
So the next session's coming next week.
Salesman in the stadium, and then
Walker's going to have to find a play here. Let's see if he comes up with a 3-bet. He does. That's right. That's the play. That's your professional player right there in Wonka, and he just takes
And
it down right away.
for the end of this episode, Wonka gets to take it, and you know what? He earned his reputation. Gets to win with a 3-bet.